A28.
Hello, hashtag Verse TV family, and welcome. I'm Aaron Mack, and this week, generation spotting. Subtitle, hashtag ages, coming from newsweek.com. Hashtag Verse TV A28A. Okay. A28 A-OK. It's A-OK, you know? Oh, right. And again, I'm Aaron Mack. I look back at these videos and it's like I so often just don't even say my name. Like, hello. Yeah, I'm and it's like okay. Anyway, yes, I'm Aaron Mack, and this is hashtag Verse TV. So the random question. I've already randomly pressed the button twice, and it is right here. You see it? Okay. Oh, have you ghosted someone before? I always talk about this because this has, it was such an interesting occurrence in my life because, and I'm just going to tell the story the way it is, and hopefully it'll help somebody somehow. Somehow, some way, we're gonna make it to the other side. I know that was the song on hashtag Verse TV number of weeks ago, but still, okay. For underrated hype TV. Anyway, uh, Barnes, Mr. Barnes. Anyway, okay. So before I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis back at the end of 2010, so long ago, back at the end of 2010, I was diagnosed. And before I was diagnosed, I remember I was, you know, things were just regular. Like it took me a very long time to have to start using a walker, i.e., 20 years, 10 years rather. And and I'm working to get out of it. I went to the gym this morning. Anyway, or early afternoon. There was this dude who I came across on, was it Adam for Adam? I'm a little bit older in my millennialness, so it might have been Adam for Adam. I don't think it was Men for Now, but whatever. It was 2010, right? And I remember we hit it off well. You know, I was attracted to him, you know, gorgeous thick dark chocolate, you know, all of that. And he let me know he had autism. And this is before I was diagnosed with MS. And he's like, yeah, so by the way, I am autistic. I'm a fully functioning autistic. And I remember I didn't know anything about what it looks like to date someone who's autistic. I remember one time when I was in college, when my mom and I visited some family in Philadelphia, one of the one of my cousins is autistic, and at that time she was a very young child. And I remember she sort of like came into the room and like just stared at us for something and just didn't say much of anything and just went on about her business. And my older cousin was like, yeah, you know, that's just what she does. She's autistic. Sometimes that's how she handles things. So that was sort of the extent of my understanding of autism. So when this guy told me he was autistic, he's like, I'm autistic, but I'm a highly functioning autistic. I asked him a million questions, a million questions. I'm like, so how does that affect you? What does that mean? What do you do for that? Okay. And how do you, and I asked all of those questions. And I guess I was trying to make myself comfortable or get an answer that had me be like, okay, that's it. It's totally cool. But him, in being totally honest with me on everything, I was just like, oh, I don't I don't know if I want to date somebody with a diagnosis. I mean, I'm what, 27? I don't have time for that. Thank you. Goodbye. And I ghosted him. And a matter of months later, at the end of that same year, I ended up getting diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And that journey was very interesting as well, because in the journey, I experienced when I would date people, I would get the same thing. And dudes would ask me a million questions about, oh, you have multiple sclerosis. And at that time, I was still walking, running, swimming, everything, you know? But it was simply diagnosed as a name at that time. And people would ask me all of those questions. They'd be like, okay, multiple sclerosis. Okay. I'm like, it's not an STD. Okay. So you can't get it from me. Okay. It's just a diagnosis. And they'd be like, oh, okay. Well, and disappear. And every single time someone would do that to me, and it happened many times, I would think back to the dude that I ghosted and why I was like, yeah, I just still felt uncomfortable with that situation. Anyway, oh my gosh. Actually, I do have enough time. So I was just, I don't want to say I got my just deserves. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know if it's not just deserves. I know it's not just deserves. It's got to be just deserves. I believe it is. And I I would acknowledge when people would do that same thing to me. I'm like, this might just be my just deserves for the fact that I ghosted him at that time. And I'm sorry. I think all of that has contributed to the fact that I despise dating. I truly do. And I am so satisfied. Right. The song this week, right, is I'm So Satisfied, Love. Anyway, the song this week is none other than 1988. It's an older song, older-ish song. 1988 song, Especially for You. Especially for You by Kylie Minogue, and Jason Donovan from the single, I guess maxi single, because it's like 10 tracks, but it's the same song. The single, Especially for You. And I have had that song on major repeat so much, so often, so long. I truly enjoy that song, especially, yeah, and I connect with it. Okay, what did I write here? Oh yeah, I also acknowledge the power in the line where she says, "Now she and he," because it's a duet between the two of them. When they say, "Now we're back together," ooh, and it's like that in and of itself is a very powerful line when you think about it. And uh, that can be a part of building with someone. Building. It's all about the building. Now we're back together. Together. Anyway, I love that song. I did. Anyway. And yeah, I also enjoy Kylie Minogue's new album. And she released it, I think either earlier this year or at the end of last year. But I remember I love that album. I do. And a commenter, because in this day and age of social media and everything, I noticed a commenter under her music video for her latest single. Am I going into that right now? Yeah. For her latest single. Oh, I wish I could think of the name of it, but I like that song a lot. I really do. Anyway, but her latest single, just look up Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue, Kylie Minogue. And somebody was commenting on the video because YouTube, and they were like, "Oh, Kylie Minogue, you are just so old. Why are you still doing this? Oh my gosh, huh?" And I remember reading that comment and I was like, y'all better shut up. Anyway, no, I don't remember where I got that from, but it was somewhere. It was okay at the time. Anyway, so I got it from Janelle Monae. Anyway, love her. She's diva. And speaking of diva, I will say that Kylie Minogue, my love, who is Rwandan. Yes, he is Rwandan. He also went to school in Australia. And my love explained to me that he's like, yeah, the gays in Australia, oh, Kylie Minogue. She is like a timeless diva to the gays in Australia. And I found that to be so interesting because it's like, here, this dude is talking about how she's too old and she needs to stop and stuff. And it's like, but over there, she is timeless, diva, you know? And I'm reminded of when Beyonce went to South Africa to learn the dances for Run the World, Run the World Girls, Who Run the World Girls, for that song. And she was like, it's so interesting and such. I think she was saying she actually appreciated it, but she was like, yeah, it's really a different feeling being in South Africa and working with that dance troupe because none of them had an idea who I was. They were just like, oh, okay, we're here teaching her. Oh, okay, this is how you do this and what have you. And that was it. And Beyonce was like, yeah, it was really good to just be a regular person. All of that just, it's so interesting how from country to country, artists can be received so very differently. Yes. And also, as far as that song, especially for you, uh, all the times we were apart, I thought of you. Uh, anyway, yes, yes, it is. Oh, but okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to close early, I guess. I'll talk to y'all later. Hashtag not kidding. But close this part early ish, I guess, because What I will say that I thought was so cool listening to that song like a billion times, and I was playing it just this morning. Actually, TBT, TB8, truth be told, to be honest, I was playing that song in the gym this morning as I was pushing the sled up and back. And that's what I do. I push it up once, make my way around to the other side, push it back, then poof, done. Yes. And I was playing that song today and just had it on repeat in my ear. And yeah, I must admit that it's pretty cool how they did the background vocals because if you listen closely to the chorus, Jason is hollering. He's belting, as we say, he's belting. You know, Jason is hollering, belting the notes. And it's like that Jason Donovan. It's so interesting because the way they mixed it down in the studio, and I love this kind of stuff. I interned at a recording studio when I was in high school. I love this kind of stuff. Working with artists and everything. I love it. Anyway, they mixed it down, and the sound engineer on my debut album actually did the same thing. Like there was a part, and he was like, "I want you to holler this out," and I was like, "Okay," and I was just hollering like I. That first album, I did a lot of hollering. The second album, I sort of didn't as much. Long story, but that first album, I was just hollering, just like Jason Donovan. I was just hollering, and the way the engineers worked it out, engineer for my album, the engineers, I'm assuming for Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan, you pull the hollering voice back a little bit, but it adds a nice full feeling to the song to have the hollering going on in the back, but it's not loud enough that it's disturbing, because like Kylie Minogue was singing her part and she was just singing over it. And it was like, anyway, love it. Check the song out, Especially for You by Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan. I remember Kylie Minogue came out with a hit song. Yes. When I was in high school, the song Can't Get You Out of My Head, I did not like that song. It got played a whole lot. Can't get you out of my head. Something, all I think. I did not like that song. But I loved the follow-up single from that same album. It was Love at First Sight, 'cause baby. Anyway, oh my gosh, yes, I did. But FYI, Kylie Minogue is timeless diva for the gays in Australia. So y'all better not, you, Mr. Person who was hating on Kylie Minogue in the comments. Like, she's so old. She needs to stop it. First of all, anyway. Anyway, I'm 41. Okay? So I'm still a fellow millennial. Anyway, oh my gosh. Anyway, okay. Like, share, subscribe, share again, and don't forget to click like. Part A.
Generation Spotting, subtitle Ages, Newsweek.com, hashtag VerseTV A28A. 10 Ways to Spot a Millennial, according to ChatGPT, published August 23rd, 2024 at 4 a.m. EDT, updated August 23rd, 2024 at 7:55 a.m. EDT by Alice Gibbs, Senior Life and Trends reporter.
Caught between dial-up nostalgia and high-speed Wi-Fi expectations, the millennial generation born between 1981 and 1996 spans age ranges from late 20 seconds to early 40 seconds. But how can you tell who is and isn't a millennial? While some may say it is as simple as spotting the person who ordered avocado toast for breakfast or the couple who are buying their first home in their 30 seconds, Newsweek looked for some clarification, asking generative AI tool ChatGPT to outline the 10 key ways to spot a millennial. While not an expert, ChatGPT is able to generate answers based on training data from books, articles, websites, and other written sources. Newsweek asked, "Tell me 10 ways I might spot a millennial, someone who is from the millennial generation, born between 1981 and 1996. In your response, please consider factors like fashion, entertainment, language use, social indicators, and media consumption. 10 signs that you're a millennial, according to ChatGPT. In the response, the language model proposed 10 ways that someone might identify a millennial without even asking for their age, from fashion choices to their relationship with money.
Article continues.
Yes, there are things that place us that we have in common that place us in different groups by age, right? Right. Okay. For example, they talk about the big thing that connects all of us millennials is the fact that our youth to up to 5, I think, we had September 11th at that time, that occurrence. And I remember my mommy had just sent me off to Howard University, hundreds of miles away from New Orleans, Louisiana. And I remember calling her and saying, wow, there's a lot going on, and saying, and I thought it seemed like I saw it because it seemed like from my dorm room, I could see, and I don't know, like some people might be like, from Drew Hall, oh, you did not see that. Okay. But it seemed like when I looked down toward downtown, I'm pointing, but like you all can see. But it seemed like when I looked toward downtown from my dorm room window, that I could see smoke coming up after that 9/11 situation. So, smoke coming up from the Pentagon. I don't know if I did, but maybe that's what that was. And that was just a really scary time. Anyway, all of that to say, that is an occurrence that does unite us millennials. And they say that Gen Z is their big occurrence that they're going to have or have had is COVID. And that's a, oh my gosh, like that's like it was cute how like all of the celebrities were like that first year for those first people who didn't get a graduation in person because of COVID. And all of the celebrities were like, hi, I'm Celebrity A, and I'm here to let you know, congratulations on putting in all of that hard work to make sure that you've made it to this special day. And then COVID continued on for a few years, and the number of celebrities who were like, congratulations, like kind of started to fizzle out, even though kids were still not being afforded graduations in person. It's just whatever. Anyway, there are different things that unite different generations. It's my understanding, like Gen X, I think they said it was like Watergate, I think. I don't know, but sorry. Okay. Anyway, so some of those, and in reading the article, some of those things that they said were like identifiers of millennials are actually really just stereotypes about people, like the avocado toast. And it's like, I am a millennial and proud. I remember when I was in my early 20s in college, actually, a friend of mine who was just a few years older than me, but just a few years older enough to put him at Gen X, he used to sort of pick with me in a nice way, but pick with me about being so young. He's like, you. And I was like, I'm Gen X just like you. And he's like, no, you're not. You're like millennial or something. And I was like, okay. Okay. And that's part of the reason that now I hold so strongly to the whole millennial thing. I'm like, yes, I'm a millennial, darn it. Okay. Yes. Anyway, but yeah, as far as the traits of a millennial, it's, they're all just, it's a lot of stereotypes. Like I remember years ago, it's another millennial thing. When I was a very young kid, and when I was in grade school, and Alanis Morissette had the song "Ironic," and I remember somebody, some talking head on TV or something, was like, she names all of those things in the song "Ironic," and most of the stuff, it's not so much that it's ironic, it's just that they're total bummers, but that's not irony. And I'm like, shut up, you. Anyway, but yeah. So as far as these millennial traits, it's not so much that they're traits of millennials, it's just that they're stereotypes. Like, I don't like avocado toast. I must admit, I did try it. And the reason I tried it is because I was like, well, they say us millennials love it, and I'm team millennial all the way. So let me give avocado toast a try. I did not like it. Now, what I do love, and I don't even think this is a millennial thing at all, but what I do love is peanut butter and banana toast. Peanut butter and banana toast. That's the toast that I love. Yes. I can't think of the name of the place where I get it, but anyway, they do a really good job. Yep, they do. And I realized, as far as these stereotypes, and talking about all millennials love the avocado toast and stuff like that, and even millennials that I watch on YouTube, others will talk about liking avocado toast. So again, it's not that it never happens. It's just that not every millennial does it. And what it made me think of yesterday as I was writing the answer, I know, but as I was writing this answer, fleshing it out more in more depth, I was like, it's kind of like just stereotypes in general, and how people put things on like black mamas. Oh, I can't stand that stuff, because I think about my mommy and how much I love her and how fabulous she was. And the way that they're like, black mamas be like, and it's like, stop it, okay. But the way they would be like, black mamas will beat their children. They'll beat the stuffing out of their kids. Yes, they do. Yes, they does. And it's like, it's so unfortunate, because I encountered a number of people who, at the time that we had the encounter, were and probably still are not black. And they would attempt to relate to me by being like, yeah, like my parents used to beat the fuck out of me too. I got beat the, oh, they beat the God. And it's like, that's so interesting because, interestingly enough, as a black man with a black mom, my mom did not beat me. Sorry, and I did get spankings up until I reached a very young age. And I think that her thinking, because she's just so fabulous and so advanced and everything, I think her thinking was along the same lines of what I've read before or today, recently, in other words, as an adult, that when it comes to punishing children, when they are very young, spankings can be helpful because they they know how to associate no with pain. So that's what they learn. But once they reach the age of reason, you do not have to spank them. They should be able to reason that, oh, you're telling me to stay by your side while we cross the street, or else that's not, that's all you need to say. Like, I don't need to learn something worse by getting, I don't know, hit by a car or something like that. Yeah. I still remember, oh my gosh. I haven't thought about this in years, but I will talk about it very quickly. How years ago, I remember I had just moved to New Orleans, so I was in the eighth grade, and I remember we were running for the bus after school, and we were running across the street like, oh, we don't want to miss the bus, and I was running right next to a kid, and we both ran across the first part of the street, and a car like just barely missed us, like stopped as far as hitting us and like screech, like had a screech on the brakes. And I, wow. I was like, wow, that was close. So I stopped at the median or the neutral ground. I'm from New Orleans, y'all, okay? I've got it. But I stopped in the median, the neutral ground, and the other kid who was running with me just, oh, I really haven't thought about this in years. He just kept on running to the bus, and the second car, so the cars were going this way and that way, and that car hit him and toppled him over the car. Wow. Wow. And he lived. I still remember the counselors were talking to me in school the next day and everything. And clearly, my reaction right now is like, this shows that stuff like that is necessary. Anyway, oh my gosh. But I remember one of my other classmates, he was on the ground crying. And one of my choir mates was like, ha ha, you're crying. And I was like, what? He just got hit by a car. And you're laughing at him for crying? Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, yeah. Ha- Yeah. Diff, like I said, the whole Black Mambas be like situation and all of that. It's just like with avocado toast. No, it's not everybody does a thing. I'm I'm not going to bring that up. Okay, I will not. No, you don't. Yeah, don't you dare. Anyway, but the Black Mamas be like, which I despise, and I will say that again. I despise that. I remember when I was younger and I would watch things like that because it wasn't always called Black Mamas Be Like. It was just, yo, I had a Black Mama and a Black Mama always be like, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, while white mamas be like, well, darling, what you need to do is you need to think about such and such before doing that. And this is not the right way to handle that, okay? And I remember when I would watch those jokes, I would be like, that's so interesting because my mom is black, very proud of being black. And I know I always say race is not a thing. It's not a thing. What is the thing is ethnicity and a real thing. Ethnicity is a real thing. And I think life experience is what makes us who we are. And I would watch those comedians make such jokes, and I would be like, huh, that's interesting because my mom is very black and she is just like the white mob, just like the what you're saying is the what thing for the white moms to do. Very clear Huxtable, right? It's stereotypes. And also in the article, they were like, yeah, something that makes, and this was farther down in the article, they were like, another thing that makes millennials is the fact that millennials, have introduced wearing yoga pants as lounge wear, just lounging around the house in yoga pants. And it's like, really? Is that what millennials introduced? Because I, my mom, I remember she had some yoga pants that she would sometimes wear around the house as lounge wear, and she's a baby boomer. Okay. So it's like, one, you could take from that and say, okay, things are just cyclical. And that's true. Things are often just cyclical in general. But I think it's also just that, and I will conclude on this, just like my granddad always used to say, people are people. And that applies to humans, to us humans. Us humans are people who are people. People who are people. Yes. Anyway, people are people. So different people will do different things. And as a world, we need to understand that and learn to love the fact that, yes, there are different people in the world who do things differently. And we can learn from one another, and learn to live love of the huge variety of differences. Huge variety of differences. Is that being redundant? Learn to love the huge variety of, no, it's not being redundant. the huge variety of pieces in human pieces, pieces of humanity. Okay, this is something for my people who were in the DMV, maybe even Baltimore, but mainly the DMV in the early 2000s. Do you remember when Kimberly Scott remade that song by Ashley Simpson, Pieces of Me? Anyway, that's something for my local people. That's a really local song. Anyway, she sang with butter, and I think I think it was Go Go Ish. I and when I said maybe people in Baltimore, I'll take that back because I know Baltimore, and that's something that I was like trying to understand. Like, what is the thing in Cleveland? People will say Cleveland doesn't have a sound. Anyway, in DC, the sound is go-go. In Baltimore, the sound is Baltimore Club. And DC and Baltimore do not like each other's sounds. I love them both. Yes, I do. Anyway, and when I was in New Orleans, the sound was bounce. So, like, this is my, I guess, second time living in a metropolitan area that does not have a sound. My first time was when I lived in upstate New York, in Middletown, New York. There was no sound there, but New York itself has sounds. But as far as Cleveland and Ohio, it seems like there is no such thing to be found. Anyway, people are people. I don't like avocado toast. I'm sorry. I am a millennial, though, a proud millennial. Yes, I don't like avocado. Avocado toast is one of those things that's like, it could have been great. I just, you know, and I love avocados in smoothies because it gives the smoothies like that extra rich taste. I do not like avocados alone. Sorry. Anyway, okay. Um, Self-affirmation time. Yes, Aaron, I love you. You're fabulous, darling. Not only are you fabulous, you're wonderful. I love you. And you all can say these things to yourselves as well in the mirror. Anyway, Aaron, I love you, and you are worthy, worthy of wonderful, wondrous. You're going to make it. Yes. Aaron, you are a wonderful winner. Yes, you are. Aaron, you are a beautiful catch. Yes, you are. Yes. And Aaron, you are intelligent and practical, intelligent and practical. Yes, you are. Okay, Aaron. Aaron, you are working on growing stronger. Stronger than you know. Yeah. Yeah, it's a journey. And maybe one week I'll have Layla Hathaway's song BITMFW as my song because I had a really difficult physical situation earlier this week. And ultimately, while I was in that predicament, I was like, oh, Aaron, this might be the end for you. It was not. I was able to get myself out of it. And listening to Layla Hathaway's song, Myself, by the grace of God Almighty. It's by God's grace. I was able to get out of it and I fell deeper in love with the song BITMFW, Best in the MFN World. And that's what I would tell myself. I'm like, Aaron, because what she's singing about is being the best her and the best herself in the world. She's like singing as Layla Hathaway. She's like, I'm the best Layla Hathaway in the world. I'm the best Aaron Mack in the world. Okay? I'm the best in the world. Yes. You're growing stronger. Yes. And I believe that my time at the gym is what afforded me the strength to ultimately be able to struggle up and out of that situation. I don't need to describe it all the way, but hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yes, you're growing stronger, Aaron. Aaron, you are determined. Yes, you are. Can't give up. Can't give up on anything. Brother, I want that hat whenever you can. Please and thank you very much. I do. And I will rep it. Anyway. Aaron, I love you. You are worthy of all the wonderful. Aaron, I love you. You are worthy of all the wonderful. Talk to you later. Hashtag Verse TV family. Peace. Hashtag VerseTV.com. Stay blessed.